Hi, I'm Rebecca Zamolo.
I'm Patty.
I'm Laura Quinn.
I'm Haley.
My name is Bonnie McIntosh.
I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis after I graduated college. I went on a run and I felt like I had to go to the bathroom, and I kept going, and I thought something must be off, and I went to the doctor, and I ended up getting a colonoscopy, and they told me I had ulcerative colitis. Before my illness, I was very athletic, very healthy. I never got sick. I was kind of the person that could do a lot and not be affected. I had a very strong immune system, I guess I would say, and I was a Division I athlete. I was asking what the cure was, and they were like, oh, you just have to take medication for the rest of your life.
Starting when I was 12, we started getting evicted a lot. We would move every 6 months or less because my mother, who's a single mother, couldn't hold down a job. And at the time, I was too young to understand why. I just knew that, every few months or so we're moving. And that's just one of the examples of it's a common occurrence, just us getting evicted and not being able to pay rent and moving.
It started when I went away to a summer dance camp, Kiroff, in D.C., and I just didn't like the food. And they wouldn't let you get, sent food or go out for food. So it was what they had or nothing, and I didn't like it. So I just started losing a lot of weight. You look good when you're skinny, especially the ballet world. You're always told, squeeze your gut in, or they hit your stomach or whatever, and you think you're fat. You don't understand actually what they're saying. Take it as I'm not skinny, so okay.
I was born in the Milwaukee area. I was born cocaine positive with some fetal alcohol syndrome. I was in foster care for a few months, but I was adopted around 7 months, I believe, to a predominantly white family in Boyceville, Wisconsin. I have about, 19 biological siblings.
There were a lot of things happening in my life that alcohol played a part in creating. Some of the things that happened were I've been assaulted. I've been raped twice. And although it wasn't my fault, drinking had a part in those situations happening.
I even ended up taking a chemotherapy drug at the end. I was getting an infusion every couple weeks. They tried doubling up the dosage. They tried mixing that with another drug. Nothing worked. So I finally ended up with a doctor that was one of the top doctors in California, and I had gotten colonoscopies at least once a year. I had colonoscopies all the time, and she basically told me that my colon had gotten so bad. My colon had gotten exponentially bad that if I didn't have it removed, I would die.
I did go through a period of depression, and it affected my attendance in school a lot. So I remember in 12th grade, I would miss a week to a week and a half. And my school counselor got really concerned. So she sat me down and asked me why I was missing so much school. And I told her we were moving a lot and things aren't well at home. My mom would have all these conspiracy theories, she thinks my grandma is constantly plotting to kill her. So she currently, at the time, thought our neighbor were plotting things inside our house and releasing rats on our back porch to come in or stealing our mail. And yeah, I just told her what was going on at home, and we were moving a lot, and that's why I missed summer school. And she got really concerned, so she took me and my sister to foster care and enlisted my mom in a mental hospital. And that was my first experience being in foster care. But at the time, I didn't know. We joined together again. However, ever since that incident, things got worse with my mom. Her conspiracy theories became worse. She started believing that I was now working with my grandmother to try to hurt her. She convinced my sister that this is all true. My sister believed her. And it was just the three of us. So they would lock themselves in their own room a lot. And every time I walked into the room, they would start whispering and just stop talking. They had their own fridge in their room, and they locked that away. They acted like they were afraid of me, and as if they didn't want me there.
I would put on clothes and they didn't fit. And then you start to like it. Wow, this is weird. This is going back. I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. I went home and my parents were scared right away. Like I'm tiny already, so I had lost probably 10 to 15 pounds that summer, which is a lot of weight if you're already a normal weight. I was about 18, 19, and I weighed 67 to 69 pounds. I got to a place with the company I was in where they weighed me in because they were scared. I would take quarters and wrap them around me underneath my leotard just to gain a couple extra pounds.
The rural school I was in, I was really one of 2 African Americans that were consistently there, you know. And that was kind of hard for me, just because in terms of friends, it was hard to have people to relate to on, like, you know, physical characteristics. But also, I kind of felt that I had to represent or get people to realize that not every African American girl is the same, or we're not all the same as like the way you see them represented on television, because there's kind of a stereotype, you know. And so I felt that I had to get really good grades, because you wouldn't really expect that, or that I had to be super polite, and just that I had to be really welcoming and open and that kind of stuff.
I always wanted to be like the life of the party, and I was always this really fun person to hang around, and touring and partying and using that as kind of an escape. And I had this really big personality, but underneath all of that, I was so broken, and I used drinking as a way to cope with all of that. It made me feel numb, it made me forget, and I thought it helped me. I really did. And it just kept creating more and more problems. More things happened, and there was more things that I had to numb. And I did not realize that I was even doing it at the time. It was when I was on tour about 3 years ago. I had a tour manager, someone I really respected, I still respect, tell me that I had a problem, that I needed to stop drinking, but he knew that I was never going to stop.
When I was put under and they were removing my colon, I remember flashes of things, but I don't exactly remember what went on. But when I woke up, I was told I would have an ostomy bag for 3 months. There was a chance it could be permanent, so we just didn't know. And when I woke up, the doctor essentially said that it was so bad, my colon, when they pulled it out, it disintegrated. And which means it was a matter of, she said days, maybe a week. If I hadn't removed it, I would not be here.
So I go to this dollar store a lot back in Oakland, Chinatown. A friendly man in the back who owned the store said, "You come in here a lot and you stare at our school supplies a lot, but you never buy anything." And he thought I was shoplifting, but he was joking. He just said, I need some help in the store, and he pointed to this messy pile of merchandise waiting to be put back. And he asked me he said if I had extra time after school, I can help him out and make some extra money. Over time, we got to be friends, and I told him what was going on at home. So the next day, he went over to our place, and he talked to my mom, and he bought me a McDonald's breakfast and put it in his car and asked me to just wait there. At home, I didn't feel like it mattered if I were there or not, but at the same time, the feeling of leaving my own family was daunting. And then he came out and said, yeah, if you like, you can pack your things and you can come stay with me and my mom.
I think I put my value on my weight. With guys, with friends, with myself. The skinnier I was, the prettier I was. The skinnier I was, the better I was. It was the most selfish thing I've ever done in my life, unknowingly. And I think now I just care too much about the people around me to ever put them through that. And the thing that like helped me and stopped me, and the thing that like I want the most in life is a family. And I had a doctor look at me and be like, you will never have kids if you don't fix yourself. And so it's like, I don't want to, my weight's not worth that.
I feel like for a long time I really felt like I missed out on like that culture in a way. Just like the way you see it represented on television. That was my only experience with like the inner city culture or quote unquote black culture. That's truly a thing that exists. But, you know, I also felt that I could have missed out on like a family where I didn't have to get questions like, oh, you know, how do you know these people? I'm like, oh, well, actually, they're my family. It's like, oh, how did that happen? And then you go into a long, drawn-out explanation of, oh, you know, I was adopted, and then you have to go into that. And so just not having to answer questions all the time or, you know, give out people your personal background.
Then one day, I don't even remember what the moment was, but one day I just had this moment where I was done. I made the decision to just be done. And it was no going back, no exceptions. I didn't give myself any leeway. I originally planned to stop drinking for 30 days. And then about a week into that, I realized how big of a problem it was and how much I needed to do it for myself.
I always had hope. Even in the worst situations, I always thought that it was going to get better. I believed it would. And the journey I went through, like maybe it didn't end up going the way I pictured it or wanted it to go, but my life now is like a million times better than the quality of life I had before.
Rewiring myself was probably the hardest thing. I think especially with relationships with females, I notice I get scared when I get close to someone. In the back of my mind, I feel like they're just gonna walk away. So yeah, just feeling like, and thinking back, it makes sense. You know, it's your mother. You would never expect them to be able to give you away. So I think I just have this fear that the people I love, or if I get close to someone, that they're just gonna disappear. But I've been lucky to find amazing people that stuck around. So, yeah. And I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gone to the college that I went to. I wouldn't have met the friends that I have. I don't know if I would be where I am today without them.
My parents didn't know what to do or how to handle it, and I think they handled it the best way they could. But get help. Get them help. And don't send them to like a nutritionalist. Like, send them to a therapist. Send them to someone that can actually like sit and help them figure it out and talk to them like a real person.
I think strength is just having the ability to stay true to yourself, especially in like our current society. It's so hard with everything that's coming at us, where you have to look this way or you have to act that way, or, you know, it's just being able to pay attention to what you're feeling on the inside and just let that be at the forefront, and just letting your decisions be guided by what you're feeling and what you think is right, even if everything else is telling you to go against that. So.
No one is ever alone. There are so many people in this world and in this industry that deal with this. There are so many people that have a problem that they're trying to hide. And when I came out with it publicly, when I talked about it on social media, I had a lot of people reach out to me, a lot of people that also needed help, a lot of sober musicians that offered their support, a lot of people that I had lost touch with that reached out to me. And the support system that I have now is just, I cannot imagine comparing it to a beverage. I think I was always searching for something real, and because I couldn't find it, I just numbed everything else around me. Now I'm finding it, and I'm finding it with my friends, my family, my boyfriend who I love so much, and my job that I also love so much. And I'm really finding the value in these things that I have because I'm so fortunate to have them. I'm so fortunate to have them, and I don't need to drink them away, and I will never drink them away again.
The song Red Ribbon, the first time I heard it, no one had heard it yet, probably, right? And I heard it, and I was just instantly, it just brought me back to that. Red Ribbon is what life is all about. And like that's like the beauty of life is Red Ribbon. It's picking yourself up. Nothing is ever gonna stay the same or be the same or be perfect, and that's okay.